Get ready for sports, news, and entertainment. All right here, your 7 minutes with Simmons starts right now.
The Falcons do it again, 4-0 in the early preseason here as Hamilton continues to struggle. They dropped to 1-3 on home ice last night. Welcome back to the podcast, guys. Christian Simmons here, your host of 7 Minutes with Simmons, always here with your scores, your statistics, and your recaps of the GOJHL and the OHL. Today, we're recapping last night's Thursday night performances in the GOJHL. Hamilton, in particular, one of the ones we want to get through. I was there, saw the whole game, have a few notes on that one for sure. And to say the least, St. Catharines dominated this game. And I think we're going to start there. We'll just dive right in. Not going to waste any time here. St. Catharines had one heck of a performance. 37 shots to 25. Hamilton totally outshot. Scored 3 goals in that first period. And it was 3 goals back to back to back. Ferguson first, 4 minutes in. Kissel scores again, 7 minutes in. And then Wojnicki, like a minute later, scores another one. So it was 3 goals. Just bang, 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 bang. We're up 3-0. Or Hamilton's up 3-0. Great start, right? Can't ask for a better start. And, tough start for Owen Papp, the starter at the time. Jacob Saranich comes in later in the game and just absolutely shuts the door. But St. Catharines finds their groove later in that period. It's Calvin Petrovsky gets the first on the board halfway through the first period, cuts the deficit to 2. And then the second period starts, and it's just all out St. Catharines. 9 goals unanswered. They scored 5 in the second, 3 in the third, and Caden Bell had the hat trick. That kid was given way too much time and space. Got to give him credit, though. He did a great job taking advantage of the time and space, found himself in all the right areas, making all the right judgment calls, picked a couple of top corners, and walked away with a hat trick. Calvin Petrovsky, also a notable mention. He had 2 goals on the night. Ali Mustafa as well as Marcus Sulug and Haywood, all on the score sheet. Sam Lockyer as well in the second period added another one. 9-3, the victory for the St. Catharines Falcons as they continue to roll. Giving up 3 goals, a little bit uncharacteristic for them, but they blew it up offensively. Both teams struggled on the power play. 1 for 6 for St. Catharines. Hamilton was 0 for 5. So both teams struggled on the man advantage, but St. Catharines comes out victorious. They're 4-0 in the preseason. It's scary. And they just keep getting better and better. Had an interesting pickup today. They've been active from the transactional standpoint. And, it's exciting, for a team that went to the Sutherland Cup finals last season. Couldn't find a way to beat Chatham, but they're getting better on a daily basis. They keep getting better, and that's, exciting for everybody in St. Catharines. And it was Andrew Kennedy coming from the Port Colborne Sailors was also acquired today. This is a 20-point man last season for the Sailors, 12 goals. He's going to be a big-time addition for them. They keep adding the pieces. They got Caden Bell. They got Saranich is going to take a bigger role in between the pipes. They got Mustafi stepping into a bigger role up front. Andrew Kennedy coming from the Sailors. So there's lots of things to like from this St. Catharines team. And I watched them play tonight last night, a perfect game. There was not a whole lot of mistakes. I think, on a couple of the goals, there's bounces, so to speak, that went Hamilton's way. But beyond that, it was a pretty impressive performance from the St. Catharines Falcons. And I'm not surprised that they find their 4th win of the preseason. Anyways, we'll move on. Hamilton falls to 1-3 on the preseason. Anyways, also in action last night, the St. Mary's Lincolns take on the Brantford Titans, and the Titans continue to struggle. Just salt on the wound, man. 0-4-1-0. Here in the preseason, they fall again. 1 goal in that second period. It's Adam Stipin. But St. Mary's gets 3, 1 in each period on 41 shots. Both teams 0 for 2 on the power play. Doesn't matter. St. Mary's gets it done away from home at the Wayne Gretzky Sports Complex. That's game number 2. Game number 3 in Ayr. The Centennials fall to the Caledonia Corvairs in a high-scoring one, to say the least. 4 goals in that first period for Caledonia. Centennials respond with 3, both score 1 in the second, and then in the third, Air with 2, Caledonia with 1, and then we go to overtime. Caledonia scores in that overtime period. It's Littlejohn, 59 seconds in. Carson Littlejohn gets it done. 12th round selection of the Guelph Storm in the 2022 OHL priority draft. Very, very impressive performance there. 38 shots to 23 for Caledonia. They earned this victory. They dominated the pace of play. Very undisciplined effort for Air as well, which is uncharacteristic for them. 10 power plays for Caledonia. They only capitalized on 3 of them. So definitely some work to do on the power play and in that managed vantage room. Get those, video coaches going. Figure out what's going on there because the power play is not working in Caledonia. Anyways, game number 4 at the Pat Stapleton Arena in Sarnia. The London Nationals get it done for the 5th time in the preseason. 4 goals in that first period. Ferguson scores twice. Pomerleau, McSorley, and Doyle chip in as well as the Nationals take one 5-3, 39-31 the shots. Big time victory for the Nationals. They stay hot and stay one of the toughest teams to beat in the West. And impressive what they're doing here in the preseason. They've been very, very hot as of late. A couple of former Kilty Bees on that team as well. Jankovic and Nicholas Kiss finding their ways in London Nationals uniforms. That's going to do it, guys, for the recap. We'll take a quick peek ahead. Why not? What do we got tonight? Fort Erie Meteors taking on the St. Andrews College Saints in Aurora at the La Briere Family Arena at SAC. Steve Kerr Memorial Complex will be packed with the Listowel Cyclones and the Elmira Sugar Kings. That's a 7:30 puck drop in St. Mary's. The Titans head to St. Mary's. That's a back-to-back. Interesting. We'll see what happens there. Can Brantford get their first victory of the preseason? Time will tell. And in St. Thomas, Kamoka and the Stars do battle. 7:30 p.m. at the Joe Thornton Community Complex. That's going to do it, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Episode 71. If you enjoyed, let me know down in the comments section below. Like, subscribe, comment, hit the bell. It's free. We'll see you next time, guys. Peace.